Your mind is supposed to help you, not torture you. Yet for many ambitious people, the human intellect often functions as a relentless internal interrogator, turning its power against the very person it was meant to protect. It begins with subtle intrusions during the quietest parts of the day. You find yourself replaying a minor 3-second interaction from a lunch meeting, obsessing over a slight hesitation in your voice. You dissect the punctuation in a brief email from a superior, looking for a hidden subtext or a sign of disapproval that likely does not exist outside of your own imagination. As the stakes rise, so does the intensity of the interrogation. You lie awake at 2 a.m., your pulse steady, but your mind racing through 100 different versions of a future career move. You demand an impossible guarantee of success before you've even made the first phone call, stuck in a cycle where every potential solution only generates 3 new potential problems. Highly driven people are particularly susceptible to this. Because you value excellence, you've convinced yourself that thinking longer and harder about a problem is a sign of dedication. You mistake the crushing weight of excessive rumination for the weight of genuine preparation, believing that if you just analyze the data one more time, you can eliminate the risk of being wrong. This creates a state of total decision paralysis. You are standing still while your mind runs a marathon. Your intellect, the very tool you rely on to navigate the world, has become a liability that keeps you anchored to the spot while the world moves forward without you. To reclaim your mental energy, you have to understand the hardware. Overthinking is a biological defense mechanism reacting to a hostile variable, uncertainty. The human brain functions as a prediction machine. Its primary survival objective is to map the environment and project what happens next. In the wild, being able to predict a threat meant the difference between life and death, leaving our ancestors with an evolutionary mandate to reject the unknown at all costs. In the modern world, those radar pulses hit variables that the brain cannot possibly map. When you face judgment from your peers, complex market shifts, or the long-term success of a new venture, the brain receives chaotic signals. It cannot find a clear pattern, and it interprets this lack of data as a direct threat to your safety. The brain responds by generating mental loops. It analyzes the same limited information over and over, trying to find a certainty that doesn't exist. This is the brain's way of seeking simulated control. If it can keep you thinking about the problem, it feels like it is doing something to keep you safe from the danger of the unknown. This is where the trap closes. The brain confuses repetitive analysis with genuine problem solving. You feel like you are working toward a solution, but you are actually caught in a closed loop of fear, burning through your cognitive reserves to achieve a sense of safety that never arrives. This biological loop creates a powerful emotional attachment to the act of thinking. You become addicted to the process of figuring it out, because the alternative, simply not knowing, feels like a loss of power. Chronic rumination serves as a psychological pacifier. It is a way to avoid the raw, visceral discomfort of taking a step into the fog. As long as you are thinking about it, you don't have to face the consequences of actually doing it. The mental exhaustion you feel at the end of the day is the cost of this illusion. It takes a massive amount of metabolic energy to maintain these internal simulations. You aren't tired from your work. You are tired from the constant, invisible struggle to control things that are inherently outside of your influence. It is impossible to outthink a problem rooted in a lack of data. No amount of internal debate will reveal the outcome of a decision you haven't made yet. Until you take the action, the data you are looking for does not exist in the world. Breaking the cycle requires a shift in how you interact with the unknown. You have to abandon the demand for absolute certainty and accept that moving forward with incomplete information is the only way to generate the very clarity you've been chasing. Rebuilding your mindset requires 5 specific structural shifts. The first is to consciously stop the pursuit of certainty in daily choices. You must decide that good enough information is the signal to move, rather than waiting for a guarantee that will never come. Second, prioritize immediate action over theoretical perfection. Action produces real-world feedback, which corrects the path far more effectively than any amount of isolated thought. The third shift is environmental. You must reduce the volume of low-quality information you consume. Excessive digital noise and the constant opinions of others provide the raw materials for overthinking. By clearing the clutter, you starve the loops of their fuel. Fourth, you implement rigorous routines to manage your internal state. When you feel the familiar spike of anxiety that triggers a mental loop, you ground yourself through physical discipline or deep focus work. You teach your nervous system that uncertainty is not a signal to panic, but a signal to execute. The final layer of this architecture involves treating the ability to tolerate the unknown as a mental muscle. You strengthen it through voluntary exposure, by making small decisions quickly and leaning into the discomfort of not knowing the result until it happens. When you implement these shifts, the unknown is no longer a source of paralysis. It becomes the space where you operate most effectively, turning the uncertainty that stops others into your primary competitive advantage. The result is a total recapture of your mental energy. By reclaiming the hours you used to spend in circular thought, you gain the clarity needed to see opportunities that were previously hidden by the fog of your own anxiety. This is the distinction between the average and the elite. Clear minds make powerful decisions. Subscribe to PsychPeak to continue refining your psychology and mastering the high-end mindset. Stop analyzing your potential and start using it.